Hello, loyal viewers. Once again, it's your good friend, Wild Elf 26, here on the channel Games Wild Elf 26, folks. This is another walk and rant, and I'm recording this one. This is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. To all the Star Wars fans that are still hanging on to hope, now that Kathy Kennedy is supposedly no longer involved, although she kind of put a couple of stooges, personal selected stooges up in her place. I wish that hadn't happened. I wish they had offered her position to Jon Favreau. If they had offered Kathy Kennedy's position, all the authorities, all the decision-making power, all that, and the wonderful fat paycheck that it paid to Jon Favreau, I'm pretty sure he'd be happy, because that man knows both Marvel and he knows Star Wars. When he's allowed, when his hands aren't tied by the studio in some way, he's allowed to make some really excellent things. So Jon Favreau, your fans do appreciate you. And heck, I even remember when he guest starred on two awesome shows. He guest starred on Friends, because he was in love with Courtney Cox's character, and he guest starred on a hilarious episode of My Name is Earl. So yeah, that was awesome. Jon Favreau is awesome dude. Yeah, if they would only give that position that Kathy Kennedy formerly had to Jon Favreau, he could help save both their Marvel and he could help save their Star Wars. And unfortunately, though, it seems like Disney owned Marvel and Disney owned Lucasfilm wants to learn things the hard way. So, oh well. You know what happens? You know who suffers the most for it? Well, the studio does financially, and the shareholders. That's something to think about. But mostly the fans do, because they're expecting this bunch of great quality stuff, and well, all you have to do is look at the reviews people have been giving these things, and you know if they're quality or not, just based on sheer numbers. All right, folks, this is a walk and rant. May the 4th, may the 4th be with you. They scare easily, but they'll be back in greater number. So without further ado, we know this isn't about video quality or imagery. We're going into the walk and rant now, folks. And we've got to adopt the proper camera angle. All right, folks. How y'all doing? This is the May the 4th edition of the walk and rant. My walk and rants are generally about 14 or 15 minutes. And that's kind of by need rather than preference. Because currently my channel is not fully integrated. It's not monetized at all, due to a hiccup by the main device that is responsible for my YouTube. As you know, this is Games Wild Elf 26, folks. My old channel, which is no longer active, all the new content is only on this channel. My old channel was Wild Elf 26, just simple, with a Y instead of an I, Wild Elf. So you can see a lot of the series that I was covering back then, and I tried to, at least a number or letter, continue some of those series into my current channel. All right, folks, and especially the Halloween and cosplay videos. But May the 4th, May the 4th. Okay. I guess the biggest current news is the movie Mandalorian and Grogu. And there was a lot of people, some said that the theater teaser, the official teaser, official first look, which I think there was a short one for the Super Bowl, and they tried to have a bunch of what are them things? The things from Hoth, the Tauntauns. Yeah, they had the Mandalorian kind of piloting essentially a sled with 8 Tauntauns, or I guess that was what they were going for, some kind of Christmas thing. I'm not sure why it was that, but that's the premise they were going with Grogu sitting right next to him, you know. And as some people have incorrectly called him, Baby Yoda. It seems that Grogu is still unable to talk. So that is kind of a concern this late in the game, especially when we understand that the Yoda species, which name seems to still elude the company that made him. I mean, we know the names of the some of the other species, like Chewbacca is a Wookiee. We know that Wicket was an Ewok. You know, how come we don't have a species name for Grogu or Yoda? What was that character that they were all up in arms about before, from that prequel trilogy? Jar Jar Binks, right? Well, we know that he comes from Naboo, and he's part of a water species. So yeah, it's wacky, folks. It's wacky. Now, me, I'm still a big Mark Hamill fan. He's great in the Batman-related franchise. His voice and 3D actions for Joker, which continued into the Arkham video games, which really gave those Batman games a real sense of authenticity. In fact, I think his Joker was more unhinged in the Arkham than he was in the regular series. But he got quite political, and people in entertainment, you know, they should know by now, if you get extra political, you know, you run into some stonewalls. You run into folks like, you know, half your fandom turns off the channel or something, you know. So I don't understand why entertainers even bother doing the political thing, you know. They should remain like a doctor, you know, remain neutral, because it doesn't help bring across your performance of a character any better if people know what political theories or political movements that you feel strongly for or against or whatever. So he got a lot of heat, you know. I don't know why he felt the need to be so political, but he did. Especially after how he was treated in the first two of the new Kennedy Star Wars trilogy. I remember he was quite frank and quite honest about what he was thinking about the makers of Star Wars and a few other things at that time, when he barely got like a few moments of time in a movie franchise that he almost single-handedly, as an actor face involved, put on the map. You know, George Lucas is the genius behind everything, but he was behind the camera, never. He could have played a character, I guess. You know, they could have put some weird color makeup on him or something and made him some type of alien. He could have had a couple lines. Nope. And in a way, I feel that that's a missed opportunity. I'm a sci-fi fan abroad. I like sci-fi franchises of many types, and a lot of our favorite sci-fi franchises have taken a huge hit, and that's a shame. You know, different agendas were pushed. I think right now, what is it? Doctor Who from the BBC. I love a lot of the old Doctor Who series, the original Doctor Who series, and I think it was really good all the way up. Who was that really good actor? David Tennant. He got political too, but his Doctor Who was on point. His Doctor Who was amazing. And the sonic screwdriver, the TARDIS, you know. You gotta love that, you know, a whole group of Time Lords that try to fix history and make everything nice, you know. And the TARDIS, you know, the physics involved, where it's a creature, but it's like pre-genetically designed to do the function it does. It occupies a space which is small on the outside, but somehow generates an inhuman, an unfathomable amount of space inside. It's like a grand hotel inside the TARDIS. That in itself is an amazing accomplishment. And it's supposed to be alive as well. That's what makes that wild. I love that Jim Henson series that was short-lived. You know, because the Jim Henson Company was selling off various parts of itself around the time it was made, or shortly before, was Stargate. I mean, not Stargate. Sorry, some of the actors are in Stargate. My mind's doing a brain fart here. Where was it? Farscape. Farscape. Huh. Funny. It's got the same cadence as Stargate, don't it? Wonder about that. But other than that, no real similarities. They're in a living ship named Moya. An American astronaut gets lost, sucked through some weird wormhole. He's got the wormhole travels specific detail memories. Actually, how to do it, but he can't access it. But it's in his head. And the peacekeepers were after him because they wanted to get their hands on that wormhole technology so they could invade other, apparently, realities or something. But it's pretty wild. You have living ships. Some of them have weapons, natural weapons built in, and other ones have enhanced additional weapons added to them. And the cast of Farscape, you know, everything from Rigel III, an aristocrat on the lam, as it were, and when he farts, it comes out as helium. But he's definitely a Jim Henson shop creation. Pilot, who's also a Jim Henson shop creation. And the ship they're in itself, a living ship called Moya. And then there's these little DRD things that are driving around on the floor of the living ship. And anybody that gets on the living ship, they immediately inject with some kind of universal translator so they can talk to each other and the ship and everything else. It's really quite good. But yeah, of course, people that know Games Wild Elf channel and know it well and know my previous channel, you know that my main sci-fi, you know, and I'm, you know, sorry to anybody whose feelings that hurt, my main sci-fi is Star Trek. Specifically anything connected to the TNG timeline and anything that does not have the name Kurtzman or Abrams associated with it in any way, short, or form. And that's kind of my limit as far as that goes with Star Trek, you know. I am looking forward to the new Skydance version of Star Trek when they finally instigate it. Right now they're cutting ties with Kurtzman, and it should have happened way before Skydance got a hold of it. So, and it's not the actors I have any problem with. It's the story writing from Kurtzman. It's the framing of the Star Trek universe. Star Trek is supposed to be a utopia. It's mankind evolving with space travel, making new alliances, boldly going where no one has gone before. But instead, you know, we haven't had that for a long time. We've had people make it into dystopias, real petty dramas. They want certain types of folks to be represented that doesn't make sense in the context of the already established universes, especially the cultures.